I'd like to ask you if I have a special yidam deity, or if you want to recommend something from.
So, by the way, do you know what is a yidam? Pretty much. Because that could be an interesting subject also. Actually, it's just a very in short, it's just a concept. That's it, and nothing more. But but unlike any other concepts, it's a very well thought out concept. Yeah, very well organized and very well prepared. And if you know how to use it, just like any concept, yes, then it will be very, very beneficial. That's the thing. Yeah. But if you don't use it properly or take care of it, it will grow fungus and collect dust and become nothing. Yeah. That's why there's a saying that this yidam, this concept that we use when we apply it or we practice it, it really depends on sort of how we relate to it. If we relate to it as a superior being, it will function exactly the same way. Yeah. Then it will have the same sort of communication in terms of then you are the the object of protection, object of support, and all that from a higher being, and all that. And if you relate to it as a sort of as an attendant, it'll also sort of work in the similar order. And if you relate to it as a friend, it will function in the same way. Yeah. So I used to say it, I think some time ago, that it's like a mirror image of yourself in a way. This yidam concept at the end of the day. There is no real external thing out there as permanently existing. What's the matter? Yeah. Yidam. The more you use it, the more effective it will be. Well, actually, later today we have the initiation of one yidam, actually. Yes. So, one example is like the yidam is like a vehicle, like a car, for example, which I don't know much about, but I'm sure you will know better than me. A car is meant to be driven, yes, always. And it's never meant to be left in the garage. Because if you do that, then it will just very soon deteriorate and become just a pile of junk. In the same way with the yidam, you have to, once you sort of acquire one, then you have to begin to use it. Yeah. If the more regularly you can use it, the better it is. And so therefore, what it does is that, the way we go about it is that we try to see what kind of vehicle is your choice. Yeah. So for some it could be a skateboard, it could be, for some it could be a bicycle, some it could be a motorcycle, for some it could be a car, for some it could be a van, for some it could be a sports car, maybe. For some it could be anything. Yes, it could be a glider, a parachute, a plane, a rocket, a spaceship, UFO, anything. But we have to use it. That's the thing. Yeah. And we have to treat it with a bit of respect. That's the thing. Also. Yeah. And respect not in a way that it's so holy and this and that. If that's what we're interested in, that's also fine. No problem. But at least we have to respect it in a way that it's just like any other phenomena, that it's a very rare thing, that it is very hard to come by. And unless we use it and preserve it and practice it, and not just practice it also, we have to pass it on also. Yeah. We have to pass it on to others. Unless we do that, then it could very well be lost very soon, very, very soon, into thin air, and forever sort of lost. And so therefore we have to have respect for it in that sense, that it's delicate, it's very rare, precious. Then we will have that enthusiasm to go about it, and of course the benefit is, how to say, is unfailing. That's it. We don't have to doubt about its benefit. The benefit is very much there. The benefit comes not in the way we think. Yeah, it doesn't come not necessarily every time in a form of a miracle. Although we have heard a lot about it, I'm sure. Yes, that does happen. Yes. But it's only fascinating when it happens on a rare occasion. If it happens regularly, then it's not interesting at all. It's like when for the first time when we see a plane, it's really, really fascinating. As I said, thousands of bags of peanuts flying in a metal tube, very fascinating. But when it happens regularly, then it's just another one, and we can even complain about it. So in the same way, if there's a miracle experience every time, I'm sure we'll somehow find a way to complain about it too. So therefore, that's not the part. The part is actually very much synchronized with, in one with what I said earlier. I think during our conversation, that contentment. Yeah, the practice of yidam is another way. It's a very unique way to bring contentment, and that's the benefit. Yeah, and at the end of the day, what we need is, we are so used to, from the moment we are educated from youth till now, we are so used to this idea of exchange, of giving and taking, coming and going, and it is because of that this setup of a lead up of this practice always goes with the flow of requesting something, and then something coming to you as an answer to your request. So therefore, when we meditate, when we visualize, there's a radiation of light and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, of course, it's just concept, nothing more. Yeah. But at least it sort of satisfies that part of us where we have always felt that to attain something there must be an exchange. And so it fulfills that gap, fulfills that void, fulfills that rhythm. And of course, at the end of the day, it says that once we receive the blessing, then we are, then we have everything, you know, whatever we are looking for, and whatever we are not looking for, also, you know. So we acquire everything, and we have a name for that. That's then enlightenment and sambhogakaya form and all that. Basically, what it's saying is that you have everything that you need. And if you have everything that you need, then you're content at the end of the day. You don't want anything more. And it takes care of that part. And at the same time, we feel that no matter how content we are, at the end of the day, we still feel like, I need to do something now, you know. There is a part of us that we just cannot stay still. We're like a monkey that, I would say, after some time we get itchy and we begin to look around and just sort of not be happy with the bushes, I mean, of leaves and fruits that you have. I mean, the way it's always fascinating to me when they eat the leaves and the barks and the fruits. I mean, they have a bunch right in front. Actually, you can just pick one by one and eat all that, yes? They're just not happy with that. They'll just grab all of that, eat a bunch and throw that away, and then go to another tree and then... so in the same way, we just cannot stay still. You know? Yeah. So we feel like we need to do something. Yeah. And of course, all we have is that feeling of we need to do something, but we haven't a vague idea about what we want to do or what we need to do at all. We just want to do something now. You know? So, therefore, then, when we practice that kind of format of practice, then we focus on the part where we radiate, not just we receive everything that we want, but at the end of the day, we also radiate to others, to how many they are, however many they are, wherever they may be. So we radiate light constantly to all 10 directions. And that is fulfilling that part, so that then we don't become bored in a way. So that we have something to do, you know. But of course, in this case, this something to do is sort of, not to say transformed, but it's carried out in a very sort of interesting way, not in a sort of disorganized way, not just sort of very blunt, done in a sort of very blunt way, but sort of done very interestingly, with lots of excitement and joy and happiness. And so therefore then we meditate on liberating all sentient beings as the rays of light touches each sentient being. And it just doesn't stop there, that's the thing also. Yeah. Because then there's an end, of course. So the activity is endless, so as a result of it, what happens is that they themselves will do the same. Just like cells multiply, yeah? So they will multiply, and so they will perform the same activity to others, and then others, and then others. That's the very space that you're in is a sort of a dance of these sort of wonderful sort of activities of Buddhas. So in that way, then we have, how to say, perfect contentment from all sorts. Contentment from in terms of that part where we feel that also we are too disturbed and too absorbed. From that part, we are at peace. Yes, for ourselves, for that to satisfy this sort of not to say satisfy. Of course, that's not the right word, but it takes care of that part of an individual perspective, and the aspect where we are, how to say, where we perform activities. Yeah, where we need to do something. Yeah. So then, at the end of the day, then we are content. No matter where we are, that kind of that kind of view, that kind of perspective can be can be done and performed anywhere, no matter where we are. So, whatever part of the world we're in, whatever situation we're in, what kind of time we're in, it just doesn't matter. And so, therefore, a real practitioner can be content no matter where they are. It doesn't feel any difference at all. And whatever environment they're in, they will make it their own. It's of course, even though it's not their own, it doesn't matter. It is as good as their own. So they're just content. So that's the practice of yidam. So it's not. At the end of the day, what I wanted to say was that it's not a separate thing from Buddhism, and at the same time, it's not a sort of a very complicated thing to understand. Actually, it's just a concept, just like any other concept, but we will use it for a very simple purpose, to find contentment. And the real state of enlightenment is known as, having experienced and acquired total contentment, that we are not bothered or overburdened by anything at all. At the same time, we are not numb, we are not sort of cut off from anything, we are not, cutting ourselves from people or society or friends or anything. We are just carrying out as who we are right now. But the difference is that we will have contentment. So that's the thing. So finally, coming back to your question about which yidam to focus on, I think it really depends on yourself. What is the thing that you wish to sort of focus on in this life? So some of us then feel very comfortable with or we comfortable and in a genuine way fascinated with longevity. Some of us with activity. Some of us with wealth. Some of us with wisdom. Some of us with peace. Some of us with growth. So there are all kinds of things. So it depends on the personality of this life right now, of what we want to choose. Of course, there are cases where suddenly we have so much selection, just like a huge buffet, that we don't know what to choose. That's when. So that's when a teacher finally comes and says, maybe this is the right one for you. Yeah. That's it.